What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So we're locked in right now after Caroline Levin went in on a left-wing reporter after he sat there accusing the federal ICE agent of murder, ignoring every angle, every report that the agent suffered internal bleeding after being struck by the vehicle, the context around the operation itself. But Caroline didn't duck or dodge any of the smoke. Instead, she labeled him exactly what he was, a left-wing activist posing as a journalist, more interested in pushing a narrative than reporting the facts. And so now, as the president moves to invoke the ultimate act, Tim Walz and Democrats all of a sudden are begging for so-called peace around Minnesota. As always, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you love the video. Subscribe to the channel for more and share this video. That way more people see what's really going on.
Thanks, Caroline. Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Noem spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 US citizens were detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
And that right there is how you destroy a narrative, with facts. It's easy to sit there and Monday morning quarterback this and say how he should have reacted and it was reckless and what he should have done. But that's not reality. He had a short amount of time to make a quick decision in a chaotic situation. And let's not forget, out of the two groups that were on that road that day, that fateful day, one was working legally, the other one was breaking the law. But I guess according to that reporter, placing your car to block traffic as an ICE watcher isn't reckless enough behavior. But now, after stoking the flames of chaos and the president moving to invoke the Insurrection Act, I spoke about that in the last video. Looks like maybe Tampon Tim is ready to start talking things out. Take a listen.
You were mentioning a moment ago about working federal, state, local officials in Minneapolis. Governor Walz's office is saying today that he's trying to get a hold directly with the president. Have they spoken? And if they haven't, why haven't they spoken if there's a desire from Walz that they're saying to de-escalate what's happening there?
I'm not sure if that's a genuine offer to speak with the president. I was with the president about 30 minutes ago and they hadn't spoken at that point. Look, the president is always willing to answer the phone when people pick up and call. When there was another tragic shooting many months ago in Governor Walz's state, he spoke directly with the governor. But I would ask that the governor stops inciting the harassment and illegal obstruction of law enforcement in his state. All ICE and federal law enforcement are trying to do are remove people like this off of the streets of Governor Walz's city in Minneapolis and of his state in Minnesota. If you look at some of the individuals in this photo, these are all illegal alien criminals who came into our country under the previous administration. This is the most disturbing crimes you will ever read about, and there's only a few reporters in this room who will actually talk about these individuals. This is all ICE is trying to do. They are trying to remove people like this from Governor Walz's state. And so yes, he should pick up the phone and he should say that he will cooperate with this president and with the federal government in making Minnesota safer, because that's all President Trump and his administration want to do.
Tim Walz should absolutely pick up the phone. But he should also address the public and clearly condemn these actions instead of sending mixed messages as he's done. Because you can't just go around and say things like masked, untrained ICE agents are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live. And if you see these agents in your neighborhood, take out your phone, hit record, help us create a database of these atrocities, and then turn around and say, please be peaceful, please don't interfere. Give me a break. We're not talking about one or two people. We're talking about mobs, groups of individuals, some of whom have bad intentions, and all that rhetoric does is put a battery in their backs. It emboldens them to do things that can end very badly. And so now even CNN is talking about the mixed messaging coming from Governor Walz. Go figure. Take a listen.
The mayor, Jacob Frey, calling for these protests to remain peaceful, saying that protesters who are antagonizing those ICE agents are just giving in to the bait. Those were his words. But then again, the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, saying that he doesn't want people to leave the streets of Minnesota to continue documenting this. So there's definitely a mix of emotions here as well. People.
Listen, if Tim Walz wanted to do something that actually helps, he would be sending local law enforcement to arrest the people who are interfering. He would make sure federal agents can do their job. Because the only question that needs to be answered is, what is all this chaos actually accomplishing for him? Other than the very thing he claims he doesn't want, which is more federal presence. Let me tell you something. Everything he has been doing is only contributing to pushing the president closer to invoking the Insurrection Act. And once that happens, it's over. And in this next clip, Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino speaks on how local law enforcement is not even assisting at all with these violent mobs at the Whipple ICE Processing Center. Take a listen.
Again, to the point that we were making earlier with Nicole Parker, there is no backup from the local law enforcement. So it only looks like what the politicians in Minnesota and Minneapolis are doing is encouraging the federal government to flood more resources to Minneapolis. Is that correct?
John, exactly. Let's take a look at some of the other areas we've operated. Take a look at Illinois and the Broadview Federal Facility. We saw some of the same tactics used by some of these rioters and agitators and protesters. But even in Illinois, under Governor Pritzker, and he's definitely no friend, they still allowed state and locals to come in and work with the federal government to make that Broadview facility safer. That's all we ask here at the Whipple facility here in Minnesota is we want safe ingress, egress, so we can continue to conduct these Title VIII immigration operations. And anytime we can work with the state and locals, as we did in Louisiana, somewhat in Illinois, and North Carolina and other places, that's always a success for all of us.
Even in Illinois, under the governor, J.B. Pritzker, and the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, local and state law enforcement were used for crowd control. Tim Walz, on the other hand, is not focused on actually keeping American citizens safe or allowing federal officers to do their job. Let that sink in. Even in Illinois. But let's check out the part where the question comes up where are all these people coming from? And do they have jobs? Because who has time to protest at 11 a.m. on a weekday? Take a listen.
Greg, we were just discussing with Paul Morrow a short time ago the time of day, middle of the day. It's a work day. Clearly, it's Thursday. Who are these people protesting?
Sandra, great question. We do know that some of these individuals do come from out of state, and some of these individuals come to protest, and we are definitely looking at, how they're protesting. Are they being paid? What are the groups that are assisting, aiding, and abetting these rioters?
You got all these people out there protesting, and they're clueless about the people that they're actually protesting for and the things that they've done. Sure, I know it's not everybody who ICE picks up who is doing the most violent or egregious crimes, but nonetheless, neither do they. They don't know. They don't know the ones who are committing just simple, maybe small-time crimes or just broke the law by entering this country illegally versus those who are lifelong criminals who just found a new country to do it in. Yet you'll see them out there protesting as if everybody who ICE is arresting is innocent. And if they actually understood the law and realized that, I think they forget this part. And I'll say this. Federal agents, ICE doesn't just arrest someone here illegally and then say, all right, you're out, drop them off at the border and they're gone. They go through a process. They get in front of a judge. And so they get their due process, just not the same as a citizen, because that's not what they are. But let's get into the next clip. This is one of the illegal aliens that assaulted the officer, as I reported on earlier today, who was forced to discharge his weapon because he was being attacked by 3 illegal aliens, one with a broom, one with a shovel, as they all assaulted him, and he was forced to use his weapon in order to protect himself as he feared for his life.
A smiling photo of the suspect. This is Julio Cesar Sosa Celis, who is smiling inside of an ambulance, we are told last night, after being shot in the leg. This is being confirmed through us through multiple DHS and ICE sources that this is indeed the suspect. There are going to be more photos, but this is the first of several that we are told exist. Paul, I'll get your reaction to that.
I mean, well, you can see the environment that he's been living in. The fact that they felt empowered, the other 2 pieces felt empowered to come running out of the apartment and attack an armed ICE officer tells you what the atmosphere is there and how empowered they feel. Let me give him some bad news. He's under arrest federally. He's also going to be deported. And you know what? Venezuela is not going to be as friendly to him as it was, let's say, a couple of weeks ago. But it goes to the fact that there is this ecosystem that is abetting all of this. And this is why the investigation into everything that's gone on up there, which 6 AUSAs, U.S. attorneys up there, apparently just couldn't countenance and had to resign. But this is why it's important, because there are people who are receiving money, and if you drill down far enough, you're going to find out some of it's federal tax money, as in our money. They are abetting this stuff, training people to attack ICE. Also a federal crime, aiding and abetting. It's black letter law. These are the kind of levers that I hope DOJ is bringing to deconstruct the networks up there, map who is who, who's funding them, who's telling them to attack ICE. All of these boxes have to be checked, because what you can't have is this to become the normal, because it'll spread, and then we're in real trouble.
Yeah, and so now after you had the Minneapolis mayor telling ICE to get the F out of his city, and after you had local law enforcement step back and allow left-wing extremists, protesters, ICE agitators to take over the streets near federal operations, now we're hearing from local law enforcement leaders that these mobs are engaging in unlawful behavior. Color me shocked. Take a listen.
My name is Brian O'Hara, BRIAN_OHARA. I am the Minneapolis Police Chief. At 6:51 p.m., Minneapolis police received a 911 call reporting a shooting on the 600 block of 24 Avenue North. Preliminary information indicates that there was a struggle with a federal agent in front of the resident. During the struggle, the federal agent discharged his weapon, striking 1 adult male. The adult male then retreated inside of the residence, where he remained inside and refused to come out. Eventually, federal agents made entry into the residence, and the individual was brought to an ambulance where he has been transported to the hospital. Minneapolis police have secured the crime scene around the location, and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, as well as the FBI, are on the scene processing the evidence. There's a crowd gathered in the area, and we have called for mutual aid from the Minnesota State Patrol and Hennepin County Sheriff. The crowd is engaging in unlawful acts. They have thrown fireworks at police officers, and at multiple times, gas has been deployed. Police are attempting to disperse this unlawful assembly at this time. I urge anyone that is at the scene to leave immediately. This is already a very tense situation, and we do not need this to escalate any further. I have faith that the investigators are involved will follow every lead in this case and ensure it is completed to its logical conclusion.
There's still a lot that we don't know at this time, but what I can tell you for certain is that this is not sustainable. This is an impossible situation that our city is presently being put in. And at the same time, we are trying to find a way forward to keep people safe, to protect our neighbors, to maintain order. And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have two governmental entities that are literally fighting one another. Why are we put in this position? We're put in this position because we have approximately 600 police officers in Minneapolis, far fewer that are able to work at any given time. So let's be very clear. I've seen conduct from ICE that is disgusting and is intolerable. If it were your city, it would be unacceptable there too. And for anyone that is taking the bait tonight, stop. That is not helpful. Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos. And I have seen thousands of people throughout our city peacefully protesting. For those that have peacefully protested, I applaud you. For those that are taking the bait, you are not helping, and you are not helping the undocumented immigrants in our city. You are not helping the people that call this place home. ICE can leave, and this massive deployment can come to an end. We have filed litigation to hopefully make it so, and at the same time, I'm deeply concerned that we don't have that kind of time. This is already the second shooting that we've had in a week. People are scared. The atmosphere is tense. But again, there is another option. We can stop going down this route together.
And the way you stop this is actually, it's very simple. In the sanctuary city policies, in the sanctuary state policies, the ones that Democrats put in place in order to gain leverage politically, end them. And then you cooperate with ICE. And you won't see this. Because you don't see this in Florida. You don't see this in Texas. You don't see this in Memphis. You didn't see this in a lot of other red states when they were working with the federal government. And so ask yourself why. Why didn't you see it there? Because they don't have the sanctuary city policy, the sanctuary state policies. And so the way you make this stop is by cooperating with federal law enforcement. What does not make it stop is attacking federal agents, obstructing their operations, or just refusing flat out to cooperate with federal law. That doesn't calm anything down. That just makes things worse, as we've seen. But those are my thoughts. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your comments down below. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you love the content. Subscribe to the channel for more and share this video. That way more people see what's really going on. Until next time.